Greetings once again, Sonic Heroes. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with more Sonic the Hedgehog by IDW. And this time, it's a classic adventure celebrating Amy Rose as well as Metal Sonic. And it has been 30 years since the debut of Sonic CD, where they first appeared. Honestly, it's been pretty convenient that Sonic's core friend group all came out one after the other. A couple years ago it was Sonic, last year it was Tails, this year it's Amy, next year it'll be Knuckles. And that's kind of probably been why we've been seeing so much more focus on that core group. And I've loved the fact that Amy, as time has gone on, has properly gotten that attention that she has been around for a very long time. It feels as though the adventure games originally focus on that a little bit by involving her with a lot of adventures, making her part of Sonic's core group. But around the time when Sonic Heroes came out, it made her feel more like an outsider to certain things, someone that Sonic didn't want to be around. Well, Amy is finally really starting to get her due, with Sonic Superstars coming out soon, with Amy being one of the core characters. I'm excited to see what they choose to highlight in this issue, especially considering so much of the comic staff has also been working very close with Sega itself on a lot of elements. So join me as we check out and celebrate the joy that is Amy Rose, won't you? Nice cover. Amy's 30th anniversary. I have liked that we embrace that you have both the modern and classic interpretation. Don't just stick to one, embrace both. Ooh, all these really nice covers too. Naturally, I'm a big fan of Natalie Fordrain's artwork, but Jennifer Hernandez has a good one too, as well as Mario Fonseca. Honestly, they're all fantastic. And Hammerstrom, the core cover, just good stuff. Story, of course, by Ian Flynn, art by Ellen Hammerstrom. You don't always get the person who does the cover to actually do the interiors as well. Inks by Matt Frost, colors by my man Reggie Graham, letters by Sean Lee, editor David Marriott, and production Johanna Natali. Production. Not really used to that, but okay, I'll roll with that. Alright, we pick up in the Flower Field Zone, where Amy seems to be having a little bit of a tea party with all Sonic's animal friends. Amy says, "Oh my goodness, settle down. Our party has just begun. Do you really want to see my fortune card so bad?" I'm also glad that they've leaned into Amy's fortune cards, because tarot cards have such a unfortunate connotation. Ian has told us that it's easier to call them fortune cards, which makes them seem a little less black magic-y. The ups and downs of selling a product to kids, primarily. But I feel like fortune cards give it a unique name. Amy reminisces about the events of Sonic CD. You even see her reading the cards much like she did in the Sonic Origins cutscene. Amy reminisces, "Did you know? These cards led me to my first meeting with Sonic. They didn't prepare me for the adventure we'd have there together, though." Then she shuffles her cards, saying, "Should I do the reading now?" Hee. Alright, here we go. And the first card she brings out is immediately ominous to her. Ooh, that looks like the death card. Amy ushers off all the little animal friends, saying, "That's not a very encouraging card, and it came up immediately. We need to find someplace safe right now." As they all hide, she tells the animal friends, who look on skeptical and scared, "Just humor me for a moment, okay? Reading the cards can be tricky. Sometimes I can be wrong, but she's not wrong," as suddenly Metal Sonic comes racing in, landing right on the table that everyone was just at. He picks up one of the pieces of cake and crushes it. That shows that he's true evil. No one would look down on cake. Then again, he has no mouth, nor taste buds, nor stomach, so he can't really appreciate the joy that is cake. As Amy and the others continue to hide, Metal Sonic eventually gives up and goes flying off. As Amy and the others relax, Amy looks on, saying, "Metal Sonic looked like he was on the hunt. That must mean Dr. Eggman is up to no good again." She looks through her cards, saying, "Maybe Maybe I can do something about that. Warn my friends. Stop things before they get bad. Looks like I'll be meeting some familiar faces. Amy goes racing off, waving to the animal friends, saying, "It looks like this was meant to be. Everyone look out for one another while I'm gone. I'll be back for you when it's safe and sound." One of the flickies, a very familiar blue flicky, flies up to Amy, following alongside, and Amy says, "You're coming along too? Thanks for the company." Amy looks at one of her cards, the emerald, and as we find her in the waterfall grove zone, as she jumps over one of the streams, she shows the card to the flicky saying, "I think I saw Metal Sonic go this direction, and the cards say we'll meet folks I know along the way. This one represents the first one we'll meet. It can mean a lot of things, but it revolves around willpower." Amy then dreamily thinks of Sonic, saying, "I bet we're going to run into Sonic. He doesn't let anything get in his way." She then notices one of Eggman's capsules on a nearby rock. Shocked, she says, "Oh my gosh, one of Eggman's capsules. Is Metal Sonic rounding up animals and trapping them inside?" She then panics, saying, "Or don't tell me Sonic managed to get captured." I love the face on the flicky like, "Lady, calm down." Amy slams down on the top of the capsule with her Pika Pika hammer, saying, "Never fear, Amy Rose is here." Ian, you son of a gun. Was that a callback to Sonic Adventure 2? "There's no need to fear, Amy Rose is here." Oh, jeez. Really? Man, just in time for Superstars. Out pops Fang the Hunter. Yes, that's right. Now that he's been reintroduced into the Sonic series, he's no longer Fang the Sniper or Knack the Weasel. He's Fang the Hunter, a jerboa, but still the same miscreant he always was. Amy is shocked to see him stumble out of the capsule, shouting, "Fang? What are you doing here?" as she readies herself for anything. Meanwhile, Fang, who found himself right in one of the streams, wrings out his hat saying, "Meh, me and the boys botched a job for Dr. Eggman. He didn't like that, so he locked us all up." The boys? Ooh, are we gonna see the hooligans? Ooh, Ian has been trying very hard to get this team officially into the series. One of his claims to fame when it came to the early Archie comic. He's been vying for this for a long time. Will Sega make it official? Fang the Hunter's three-man team? Meanwhile, Amy then says to herself with resolve, "So, Eggman is up to something." She then sheepishly says, "Well, in any case, would you want to team up?" Fang goes marching off, angrily saying, "No thanks, Frilly. I'm gonna get my boys back. Nobody takes nothing from me." As Fang goes marching off, Amy calls out, "But we could help each other." "Oh, fine. I don't really like you anyway." I love it. As Amy jumps off the top of the capsule, the flicky comes up next to her, questioning the events that just happened. Amy says, "Oh no, the card wasn't wrong. The card was about willpower, remember? And Fang is a very determined hunter. I mean, you heard him just now, right? He isn't afraid of confronting Eggman, even after getting locked up." That is true. The thing about fortune is, well, it's not always in the way that you think it's gonna be. If you believe in that kind of stuff. I heard that Amy's cards were gonna be on sale. I do kind of want, though. Amy then looks through her fortune cards again, saying, "That's the tricky thing about fortune cards. They don't tell you the future. They just act like signposts. It's up to you to figure out how their meaning applies to you and your situation. Sometimes it's very clear and specific. Other times it's broad and interpretive." The flicky seems a little bit dismayed at this explanation, considering they're going off of this for their adventure. Amy shyly replies, "No, it's not an exact science, but it got us this far, right?" She then goes racing off, telling the flicky, "Anyway, we still need to find more friends and stop Eggman's plans. Come on." I kind of do appreciate that they made the flicky her companion in all of this. It gives her someone to talk to, you know? I'm also realizing that Cream now is very much almost like Amy was in the past, or at least how they interpret her this time around. We then see Metal Sonic arrive at the capsule that Amy just left. He analyzes one set of tracks, pulling up target, Fang the Hunter. Status, lost. He then sees another set of tracks, reading, target, Amy Rose. Status, not captured. He then, I guess, sees the direction that the tracks were heading off into the forest, and thus, Metal Sonic is on the hunt. Meanwhile, with Amy, she listens out, telling the Flicky, hold on, I thought I heard. She then panics and tells the Flicky to hide. Enter Metal Sonic. I love how much of a menace he is here. It's very much like Amy being chased by Zero in Sonic Adventure. As Metal Sonic arrives near where Amy just was at, some leaves rustle off of a tree. Metal Sonic goes racing up, scattering all the leaves on the tree. But as he gets to the top, he sees the blue Flicky, simply shrugging, as Amy is nowhere to be found. But when Metal Sonic descends from the tree, he doesn't notice that Amy is hiding right behind it. As Metal Sonic begins to look around, Amy manages to scramble right behind the tree before he can set eyes on her. With Amy out of sight, Metal Sonic simply pauses, then rockets away, Amy finally letting out a sigh of relief, as the Flicky does the same, landing on top of her head. I kinda love the tension of the moment. And the art is very cute. I love the oil painting background. A little crudely childish, but very on brand. But I also love the harshness of how Metal Sonic looks sometimes, with the metallic sheen coming in bold and cutting. It kind of makes him feel a lot more intimidating and terrifying, especially because he's so silent and he has this expressionless but menacing stare. They've really done such a good job of bulking up Metal Sonic's intimidation factor. Amy then pulls up the Tails card, as she and the Flicky are later walking through the Orchard Forest Zone. As she shows the card to the Flicky, she tells him, this next card says we'll meet someone compassionate and supportive. She then thinks and says out loud, this time I'm sure of it, we're about to run into Tails. He's sweet and kind and smart and always happy to help out. Amy then comes upon another capsule saying, another capsule. Eggman must already be pretty far along in his plans. This just became a rescue mission. But as she slams her hammer down on top of the capsule, out pops Ray the Squirrel. As Amy says, come on out to Ray, complete with his blue shoes. As Amy helps Ray up, she says, I can't believe Eggman got you too. Ray says, it was Metal Sonic. I think he is targeting all of us. Mighty told me to run. He said he'd be right behind me, but Metal Sonic caught up to me not long after. And you see Mighty in the flashback going at it with Metal Sonic as Ray runs away crying. And present, he says to Amy, please Amy, you've got to help me rescue him. Amy tells him, I will. We'll find him and anyone else Metal Sonic grabbed. The Flicky then, questions once again Amy's card readings, but Amy's having none of that, saying, watch your tone, mister. Ray is just as compassionate and supportive as Tails. He's always sunny and upbeat and charming and nice to be around. The card was still right. She's not wrong. Ray is very, what is the word, analogous? Is that right? To Tails? Ray sheepishly says, thank you, Amy. That was all very nice. Amy turns to him with joy in her face, saying, you're welcome. This really is the new direction they've taken with Amy, where it's just, instead of the constant, quick to anger she used to be, an obsessive nature, is that she's the always supportive one. Cheerful, bubbly, and full of hope. As Amy does another card reading, Ray questions, what was this about cards? Amy tells them, I was using my fortune cards to get some insight into who we'd be meeting on our journey. I didn't have time to do a proper reading, so things have been iffy. She then pulls the knight card, saying, the next card I drew is about heroism and strength, so Ray gets excited, saying, ooh, maybe that means Mighty is nearby. Amy thinks and says, maybe. It could also mean we'll run into Sonic. Eggman and Metal Sonic have been active for a bit, so he might already be involved. Then again, if Metal Sonic is targeting our friends, it might mean Knuckles has been drawn into this too. Exactly. I love the unpredictability of all of this. Amy races off saying, well, only one way to find out. Come on. And Ray follows saying, right behind you. Now, Amy and Ray adventure. Interesting. We then cut over to the Market Harbor Zone, where several egg robos are patrolling the area as well as carrying produce? I'm not really sure. There's a capsule in the middle of the area. As Amy and Ray peek around the corner, Amy says, it looks like Eggman's badniks chased everyone out of town, and he's stealing all the fruit. It's almost as though we didn't want to depict any more classic random characters except the primary ones for this story. Ray then says, worriedly, maybe he has a new type of fruit-powered badnik. Amy, I love the face. She just pauses and then says, I doubt that. Don't doubt that, Amy. It's Eggman. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. I'm just not thinking of it. Amy then points to the capsule saying, look, another capsule. I bet whoever we're supposed to meet next is in there. Ray peers at it, worried, saying, there's an awful lot of egg robos around, though. The Flicky perks up, saying, I'll do it. Amy questions him, are you sure? As she hands over her hammer to the bird. The bird gives an affirming tweet, I guess. And Amy says, you're very brave. We'll leave it to you. I love the art in this. It's so good. As the Flicky flies over the egg robos, who are none the wiser, struggling to lift the hammer. Once he's in position, he drops it. The hammer boinks open the container, and who should pop out? None other than Bark the polar bear, who's ready to throw down. Ray questions, Bark? But Amy's overjoyed, saying, hey, yeah, Fang said Eggman locked up all his gang. So it's confirmed. Fang's gang is Bark and Bean. Which, we already had, I think it was the first Sonic special that confirmed that, but I like the ongoing confirmation that that's his gang. Bark wastes no time as the Egg Robos try to go in to shoot him. One Bark grabs by the wrist and slams into another one that was gunning for him. But soon, Bark starts to find himself surrounded on all sides by Egg Robos. Amy sees this and goes racing into action, saying, come on, they're gonna swarm him. Ray worriedly says, okay. And as Bark, in a Chewbacca moment, just rips the arms off of one of the Robos, he's taken aback to see Amy coming in, picking up her hammer and just smashing in the head of another Robo. Man, robot violence. Gotta love it. I love this action sequence. Bark knocks the block off of another Egg Robo as Ray spin dashes, or I guess it would be like just a spin jump. It's not really a homing attack, it's just a regular spin jump kind of thingy. But he bonks a Robo on the head as Amy goes racing into battle some more. So good. And once the battle is done, the three of them stand back to back, checking to see if anybody else wants a taste. Ray then speaks up to Amy saying, okay, so I don't mean to doubt you, Amy, but the cards said we'd meet someone heroic. I've seen his wanted posters. Ooh, Ray, being judgy. Amy does her best to calm down Ray, saying, it was about strength too, and Bark is one of the strongest guys around. She then gives Bark a smile, saying, and I don't think he's such a bad guy. He just hangs out with a rough crowd. Isn't that right? Barks looks away, blushing. That's something that's been kind of highlighted a few times too. And very reminiscent of the interesting camaraderie Amy and Bark had back in the first special, the Sonic 30th special. The Flicky then lands on Bark's head. I have to assume also kind of confirming that he's probably a big softy as Bark continues to blush even more. Bark shoos away the Flicky as Amy asks, Dr. Eggman's been using Metal Sonic to capture our friends. Fang is already looking for you and Bean. If you help us, you'll be getting back at Eggman for locking you up and reuniting with your gang faster. Will you join us? Bark gives a simple thumbs up of confirmation, although his cool guy facade is kind of broken when he blushes wildly as Amy hugs him, saying, yay, I knew I could count on you. Ray then questions, what will your cars tell you to do next? Amy points over to a nearby ferry, saying, no need. Eggman's been shipping all of this produce somewhere, right? We'll just use the boat's log. Simple solutions. We then cut back to the orchard next to the capsule that Ray used to be in. Metal Sonic then reads 2 sets of tracks. Target, Amy Rose. Status, freeing captives. Target, Ray the Flying Squirrel. Status, lost. Target, produce. Status, bound for Market Harbor Zone. Putting all of this together, Metal Sonic clenches his fist knowing what he must do, and he goes racing off, causing several of the fruit to, fall and break. We then cut to Bark, Ray, and Amy, as well as the little Flicky, with Bark at the helm of the boat. They make their way to their destination, and as it comes into sight, Amy looks on saying, "Oh my gosh," as they near Eggman Island Zone, a giant volcanic base with Eggman's head, naturally, strapped right to the side of the volcano. As the boat makes its way to the dock, the Egg Robo questions the boat, looking at it and as well as his notes, but he's taken off guard as Amy comes in, hammer swinging, bashing the bot, with Ray and Bark following behind her. They all huddle around as Amy looks at one of her fortune cards, Ray asking, "What do the cards say now, Amy?" Amy has pulled the card of friendship, and she tells him, "It says we're going to be reunited with everyone soon. Let's not keep them waiting." Although as Amy steps forward and goes to touch one of the leaves, it suddenly hurts her hand, and she recoils in pain. Ray questions, "Are you okay?" And as Bark examines Amy's hand, she says, "Yeah, just look out. It looks like Eggman built all the plants on this island." Meanwhile, Metal Sonic has made it to the harbor, seeing the destruction in the wake of the trio. Metal Sonic analyzes the situation, reading, "Status, 3 targets, lost. Cause, Amy Rose. Target, Transport B047. I feel like that's probably a reference, but I don't know what it is. Status, not scheduled for departure." Noticing that the boat is missing, Metal Sonic puts it together, and then ominously goes racing across the waves, hunting its prey. Meanwhile, back on the island, we see a giraffe camera badnik that Amy, Ray, and Bark hide from to keep out of sight. However, one of the coconut monkey robots spots them, but Bark takes it out with a razor-sharp metallic leaf. Man, freaking real ninja over here. Amy leads the two forward, saying, "Let's go." And as they make their way to the base and enter inside, they're all shocked to see what's going on. Amy saying, "It's far worse than I feared." Whoa, we see a multitude of capsules inside the base. They're not all filled with people, are they? Dang. Ray gets worried, saying, "So many capsules. This is terrible." But Amy readies herself, as well as Bark, as Amy says, "We're going to make it right." But suddenly, enter Metal Sonic, bursting through one of the windows, landing before our heroes, his eyes locked with Amy. Amy immediately intimidated, but before Metal Sonic can rush in on her, Bark manages to grapple with the robotic beast. Managing to hold it back, Bark gives Amy a glance. Amy resolves herself, taking Ray by the hand, saying, "I understand, thank you." She then tells Ray and the Flicky, "We have to open as many capsules as fast as we can." The Flicky gives a nod, as well as Ray, who says okay. They all take to a capsule, opening them up. As Amy hops down off of one, she sees Sonic. She calls out to him. Sonic, just kind of relaxing. He says, "Hey Amy, thanks for the save." Though Amy is worried, saying, "But how?" Sonic does a few stretches, limbering up, saying, I messed up while checking this place out and got ambushed by Metal Sonic. Pretty lame. I'ma kick his butt." But before he can go racing off, Amy grabs him by the wrist, saying, "Wait, I have an idea. I need you to focus on freeing animals." I love this shot of Sonic just giving a thumbs up, saying, "Oh yeah? Okay." Meanwhile, Ray has managed to free Bean, who really spruced up the capsule he was in. I'm glad we've kept the madcap nature of Bean. Ray looks on in bewilderment as Bean, sitting in a chair, says, "The room was finally coming together, too." Amy continues on freeing several animals, and Sonic does, too, at a remarkable speed, all while Metal Sonic gives chase. Meanwhile, as Amy pauses, she sees Fang on top of a still intact capsule. He takes his hat and gives her a nod, communicating something. Amy gets worried, saying to herself, Okay, it's time. Don't panic." She then calls out, "Hey, Metal Sonic, I freed Sonic and ruined all your plans. What are you gonna do about it?" Hoo-hoo! Metal Sonic, having been alerted to this, immediately changes targets from Sonic, who has just freed Tails, right for Amy Rose. He gives chase. Amy runs, panicking, but before he can grab her, she manages to duck. Metal Sonic, still going at a frequent speed, can only look back, not noticing that he was headed straight for the intact capsule that I wanted to call him Knack, that Fang was sitting on top of. Fang manages to lock it butt tight, leaving Metal Sonic trapped inside, and Fang begins to laugh at him, saying, "Wahaha, that's what you get, you moke." That was pretty awesome, though. Amy they teamed up in the end, though. That was pretty cool. Sonic then races over to Amy, helping her up, as he tells her, "Nice plan." Amy says, "Originally my plan involved more flickies, but this worked." Ray comes flying over saying, "Look who I found." And as Mighty makes his way over, he says, "Hey guys, sorry I'm late to the party." Meanwhile, Fang taps his foot, waiting on Bark, who's beat up, as well as Bean, who has his luggage. Fang tells him, "Come on, you mokes, let's get a move on." And Bean says, "All packed. The amenities here were awful anyway." Sonic relaxes a little, saying, "All the animals are freed. Now what?" Amy thinks for a second, saying, "Load up on the boat with everyone, get back to the flower field zone, and resume the picnic." Metal Sonic interrupted. Mighty lifts her up on his shoulders and says, "Sounds like a plan, little lady." And as Amy giggles, everyone else cheers for Amy Rose, the hero of the day. Aww. And back at the flower field zone, Amy, Sonic, Tails, Mighty, Ray, and all the animal friends raise their glasses, give a toast and cheer. Sonic going, "Woohoo! Victory party!" He then gets up on his chair and bows to Amy, saying, "And a toast to the real hero of the day, Amy." Amy blushes, saying, "Me? I just followed the cards." But the flicky lands and gives a tweet of, "That's BS." Ray chimes in, saying, "He's right. Strong-willed, compassionate, supportive, heroic, surrounded by friends. The cards weren't telling you who you'd meet, they were describing you." Amy blushes even more, and then shyly says, "They can be read in a lot of ways." Aww. But she raises her glass in a cheer and a toast, telling everyone, "The most important thing is we all get to enjoy a happily ever after together." And this picturesque moment is then intercut by someone who's not getting a happily ever after, as Eggman arrives at his base, walks in, drops his fruit juice smoothie, sees all the empty capsules and yells, "What happened here?" And as he goes stomping past the capsule Metal Sonic is locked in, he shouts, "Metal Sonic, where are you? You had one job!" The end. An absolutely fantastic story, a wonderful send-up to the little rascal Amy Rose, and yes, thank you. Just like the Sonic special, just like the Tails special, this was a nice way of highlighting the most positive and wonderful aspects of our character. I also love just how much Metal Sonic was involved in this, how much of a menace he truly felt like, the fact that he had to be outthought, not overpowered. That was good stuff. Sonic was still involved, he had a role to play, but he didn't overshadow Amy. These specials have been so great. I can't wait for a collection to come out so I can get a physical copy. I always purchase digital, but I love getting the physical hard books, or the softbacks, whichever. But wonderful art, great writing. I love the way everything came together. Not to mention, it was good to see Fang in the gang. And not to mention involving Mighty and Ray too on top of everything else. That was kind of cool. These specials have also been good for just giving some characters who haven't gotten any attention more recently a nice deserved spotlight. So happy 30th anniversary Amy Rose as well as Metal Sonic. Two characters that the franchise could not live without. And even if they could, I wouldn't have it any other way. Sonic has always been a good character, but it's his friends that make him a great one. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you enjoy this anniversary special? How did you feel about the story? Which characters do you wish you could have seen or had been a little bit more involved? And how was this as a send-up to Amy Rose? Would you have preferred a Metal Sonic special? I want to hear from you. So like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.